Hey guys, you can see I'm wrapped up a little bit. Do you know what this means? No, this is not fashion design day here. It is cold as, well, you can fill in the blank. Okay, the first thing we're going to do, we're going to be changing out this transmission range sensor. Now there's an adjustment procedure on this where if you get a fixture, the OEM fixture tool, it's they use using that to get this thing aligned and adjusted, so you don't have to worry about moving this thing back and forth, because there is a slot in here for the 2 bolts. So I'm going to go through that procedure, and then I'm also going to tell you maybe how you can do it without the tool. First thing we want to do, they want us to put it in neutral. So let's do that. And then we'll turn the switch off. Okay. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect this here connector. Got a screwdriver, pushing on the side of this tab over here. Okay, there he is. Alright, now look, to ensure that I don't have any problems with a connector here or any kind of conditions there, as you remember it was intermittent, even though switch didn't look like it had good transitions. So this is just more or less like a preventive measure here. I'm using Deox D100. Now the difference between this and some of the generic contact cleaners out there like CRC is that this will actually chemically improve the metal-to-metal connections. So it does a chemical reaction on the contacts to actually get rid of the oxidation and things of that. It actually does it actually has also, it's got a lubricant in here to kind of protect it on, down the road. So that's what I'm going to use. All right, let's put a little shot of this stuff in each one of these contacts. Now this stuff is safe on all plastics, so it shouldn't be no issue there. Notice it doesn't squirt out like some of the other ones in there, that's out there on the market. Alright, first thing we'll take this here clip off. Got a pair of needle nose here. Alright, that's what she looks like. Alright, now I'm going to slide this here linkage off. Alright, I'm on a 12mm nut. I'll just take this thing all the way back. Alright. Okay. Okay, now you can see we're going through each one of the gears. So I'm taking it all the way back. There's park. Reverse, neutral, should be good enough. And we'll slide him off. Notice he's got 2 flat spots here. Okay guys, this thing has got 2 bolts here holding this here range sensor on here. It's got 10mm heads, and the one that's down here on the very bottom, you may not be able to see it, and you can't get a socket on there, so get you a gear wrench. Alright, there's one of them. That's off the bottom. And there's the other one. And now let's just see if we can slide this thing off of that spline. Alright guys, that's what it looks like. Alright, now let me show you what we got here. Internally inside here we have these plastic splines that's going to go and made up with the shaft that's on the transmission. Now there is a flat spot right in here. That's a flat spot on the transmission. Now when you get this here switch, this flat spot is going to be located right here, which is going to be right across from this right here. This is a locating pin that the fixture is used to locate this. So anyway, this right here, my guess is this is going to be where it's going to be in the neutral position. So with the gear shifts lever in neutral, then we slide this on, we put our fixture in there, and then we put our bolts in, tighten it up, and we're done. So anyway, I just want to point that out. And looking inside, I can see where the splines is already worn. So you know this right here, moving this thing back and forth through the gear shift positions, you can see that this thing wouldn't take much for this thing to wear out and then slip. And then of course at that point, then you're out of position. Okay guys, all I'm doing now is I'm just spraying a little brake clean on here to clean up these splines a little bit. Okay, now I'm just putting a little bit of silicone spray on this, just making a little bit of a lubricant so this thing will slide on a little bit easier. Alright, I'm going to take my bell crank. Now I slid it on, but it was a little bit rough, a little bit hard to get on, so I took a file and I filed a little bit, had little tiny burrs there. So when you put this thing on, you want it to be able to slide on there pretty easy, just like that. Okay, now put it in park. Then I'm going to go back, reverse, and there should be neutral. I want to make sure. Park, reverse, neutral. Now my flat spot on the shaft is right here where my finger is at. Alright guys, with this here shaft in the neutral position, just take your switch, just get them slid up on there. It sounds like he's got a little, might be a little burr on this thing. Alright guys, this is the old one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be sliding this kind of back and forth across these here splines in an attempt to clean anything that might be on there. Okay, now let's get our bell crank. Let's go back to make sure that we're in neutral. There's park, neutral, reverse, I'm sorry. And that should be neutral. Okay. Let's see if this thing will go on a little bit easier now. Okay. Okay. So you can see that this one here, the splines are fitting a whole lot tighter. Now notice right here that our hole is lining up with our hole up here. Now that's why we want to put it in the neutral position, you know, far as right here, and neutral in the gear shift. So when we put our bell crank on, it all should line up. Now we do have some adjustment here. Now this hole up here and this hole down on the bottom are slotted. Now, this is the old one, so you can see better what I'm going to do here. If you see this flat spot down in here, right? We're in the neutral position on the transmission. Now here's this tool. It's a DW260-050. This is the tool that Suzuki recommends to use for an alignment on this here transmission range sensor. Now the way it'll work is this here will slide down over the shaft. This here pin will go right into this hole here, the locating pin. So basically you put it in there. This is slid over the flat part of the transmission with the splines, and at that point it's locked, and there a bolt is already there waiting for us to put in, so the adjustment is already done for us. So we don't have to sit here and do this kind of number to find out where, where these switches will be in the right position. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to slide the tool. Flat spot is back here on the back side. And you see how this thing will move? It's like this. Like I said, this is slotted. The bottom hole is slotted. So where do you put it? Maybe in the center. Maybe close enough. I don't know. So let's put the tool on and see where it wants us to be. Okay, there it is. So now we're set. All we have to do now is put our 2 bolts in. While this is in, tighten them up, and this here is set. Now since we have something that's moving, I like to always use Loctite. So let's get the worst first. Let's go down to the bottom. What do you mean I can't find a hole? Okay, that's one. Alright guys, just for you guys for reference, this here looks like it's going right in the center of the slot. Okay, so if you don't have the tool, you can use that as a guide there. Okay. Alright, we'll take our tool off. Let's get our bell crank on. There's our park. It's going to turn over the park anyway. Okay. 12 millimeter. Okay. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit of white lithium grease on here. There we go. Alright, let's put the transmission in neutral. Make sure that's park. Reverse. There's neutral. Take a C-clip. And let's see if I can get him on there. Okay. Let's get our connector. Let's hook him on up. Alright guys, we got the switch in, so here's what we want to do now. I'm taking a quick look at this here display on the cluster. See, right now I'm in park. Alright, and I'm going to go through each one of the shift positions. There's reverse, neutral, drive, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, drive, neutral, reverse, and that's park. So that all looks good. Alright, now what I just showed you right there, going through the gears, looking at the cluster, that's another way that you can use to help adjust your switch. When you get your switch in, if it's not adjusted correctly, you can look and go through your gears, and if you got to say put it in park, adjust it, you see P. So hopefully all your other gears should be right when you go through them. It might be good to have 2 guys there. One, he could be looking at the display. The other guy's up under the hood. He's adjusting the switch, so you could, you could holler back out each other what's going on. Now, another thing that I didn't mention in the very first video, another symptom is that when you get these here switches out of whack, these 4 switches, they're feeding the signals are being fed up here to the cluster also, as I mentioned. Well, if those signals are off, then of course the cluster don't know what to do either. So what's going to happen there is you're going to see some all weird looking characters. You might see a slash in there, or to be cycling through each one of the letters here, you know, the PRND 321. So if you see that, that's another symptom that you got some transmission range sensor problems. But you know, you can use it to your advantage when you make an adjustment. It's either that, or you can also, if you want to do a little backup, you can put the voltmeter on there to do a follow-up, you know, to make sure that your switches are indeed in the right position. And you can correlate that with your display up on the cluster, making sure that it's in the right gear. Because once you get the 4 switches right, your letters is going to come up right on your cluster. Okay? Guys, that's going to wrap up this video, and this will also wrap up this video series. I hope you enjoyed the video series, learn a little bit about transmission range sensors, and I'll leave you with this thoughts and hope everything goes y'all's way, and wish you all the happiness and success that life has to offer for you and your families. You guys take care.